But I like Paul. Paul is someone that preachers should take note of, because Paul knows how to connect with his audience. Paul wandered around Athens and was looking for a way to share his message. And he looked at the gods over here and the gods over there and that god, and then he found one. Because apparently the Athenians had resurrected altars or statues or whatever, monuments to every god they could think of. But just in case we missed one, to the unknown God. And Paul found a way to connect with his audience. Guess what? You may think there's an unknown God, but I know. Let me tell you about it. The people were ready to hear who the unknown God was, and Paul found a way to talk to them. So often when preachers are getting ready to preach, you look at the scriptures and then think, okay, now, where's the in to get into the congregation? What's going on in the congregation? Who's doing what and what's happening, and birthdays and deaths and anniversaries and all the things that are going on in everyone's life every day. I'm here to tell you about the unknown God. Yeah, we know the story. We've heard Paul before. So how's a preacher to find a new way to get your attention? In my case, it was taking off my shoes at first. That got your attention. Sometimes it's just by saying, I'm still trying to figure it all out. Because so often, preachers seem to sound like Paul. I have it all figured out. It's the only downside to Paul I can think of. Because he stood up and he said, that unknown God, I know all about the unknown God. Let me tell you. I know about God. I understand the scriptures to an extent. But there's a lot of them. I'm here offering you what I have. I've been doing it a while, so I think I'm getting pretty good at it. But it's a lot like being a mother. You figure it out as you go. And now that my son is 30, I'm still figuring it out as I go. I know some of you have children my age. We won't talk about what that is, but you know. And you might still be figuring out how to make it happen, what to do, how the connections are made, all of those things. And Friday, I was sitting in my son's house, and my grandson was next to me on the couch, and my son was over in the chair. My daughter-in-law had gone up to finish some work she hadn't gotten done earlier in the day. And I thought, this is different. I remember the day my son was the one sitting on the couch with me. And now it's his son sitting on the couch with me. How am I supposed to navigate that? What am I supposed to do about that? What am I supposed to know as a granny now? And then when I went to say goodbye, there's the standard, why don't you give Granny a hug before she goes? Nope, not today. Oh, no, come on, give Granny a hug. That was his parents, not me. Nope, I don't want to give Granny a hug today. I'm learning to honor, because I used to push my son to hug his relatives. I looked at my grandson and I said, high five? Great big grin and a big hard high five. How do we connect with people? Because Paul was trying to connect with people so they'd hear the message. Damon and I were connecting yesterday with the message that it's okay to be you. And if that means you're not going to give me a hug today, we'll find another way to connect. The Spirit that Jesus talks about to his disciples helps us connect with one another. Because that's what helps us connect with others and helps us tell the story to others. That Spirit that's in us needs to come out. It needs to shine just like the candle each Sunday needs to shine. You know who the person is you're talking to each time as you sit with them. So you know what they'll listen to and what they won't. And you use whatever you have in you to connect. And it may be different depending upon where you are and what you're doing. I'd already gotten a hug several times on Friday before I went home. Because we were sitting on the couch. We were having time to read. We were playing with things. And those hugs just happened. But he needed to know it was okay to say, I want to do something different. We all know what God means to us. And if we're searching to find words or ways of expressing that, then we can look around us. At children's time, I told you, God is right here. For we are all made in the image of God. I know God has a sense of humor, right? But we are all made in God's image. And so if you look at another and see something reflected there, it's a touchstone to help you connect with God. As we connect with one another, we connect with God. So the unknown God is known in the sharing of the peace, in the sharing of faith, in the sharing of simply being community together, supporting one another however you need that to look. Just being together. For in our midst, there is God. And isn't it wonderful that the Spirit can infuse us and help us bring God beyond these walls? For you are the image of God wherever you go. The Spirit is there to strengthen you and help you share that. And when you need to, you gather back here to be reminded that God is no longer unknown. For God is right here, right now. Amen.